We're going. So my name's Dan. I work here at Red Cafe. I'm a youth worker, a filmmaker, photographer. I'm quite used to speaking to a couple of hundred young people in schools. But you guys, there's quite a lot of you as well. There's nearly about 200 or 300 of you here already. You feel a little bit more intimidating. And I'm going to talk to you tonight about football. There was a few yays, a few groans. Ben Evans at the back was loving it. So, best night of the week. So, imagine me this time tomorrow. Thursday nights are the best night of the week for me. For about 13 years, every Thursday night has been a trip to Bishopston School, and they've got the new sports facilities there. We've been playing football every Thursday night. And it became known as the best night of the week, FC, because all of us who go, we look forward to this Thursday as our best night of the week. And I know some of my teammates are good friends of mine, but actually most of them, I know very little about their lives. I don't really know what they do, don't really know their wives. Half of them, I barely know their names. But I can tell you who's got the best shot. Byron here. Who's the worst goalkeeper? This boy. Don't know his name. Who's the greediest player? Who gives their all every week? Who won't give their all every week? Who's got the best twinkle toes? Does anyone know what that means?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Who's good with a stopwatch? Who's going to be the encourager? Who encourages everyone else? And who's going to be the biggest moaner of the night? Does anyone know Stu Jones? He works in Mumbles. So we see their skills and their personalities too, but we spend time with each other, and we've begun to develop some nicknames for some of the players as well. So we've got Tall Mark. Tall Mark joined about 2 years ago, and he's probably only about 6 foot, so he's actually not that tall. He's fairly average in height. You would have thought he's called Tall Mark because there's another Mark who's short, but there's not. This is just Tall Mark. He became Tall Mark. We still don't really know why, and for short on the pitch we call him Tall. So we don't shout Mark. We say tall. Anyway, there is a point to this talk, don't worry. It's not just all about football and the people I play with. But as I was saying, I can't tell you, I don't know what Tall Mark does as a career. I think he's got quite a good job, but I don't really know too much about him. I don't know where he lives. I don't know his wife. I don't know his kids' names. But for me, Tall Mark has become part of my family. That every week, I know, week in, week out, on a Thursday night, Tall Mark is going to be there. We're going to play football, not particularly well, and then we're going to go to the pub and we're going to talk about all sorts of rubbish. And it's a bond, I think, that lasts longer than a lot of relationships. It lasts a lot longer than a lot of our jobs, sometimes even our marriages. And it's not my own. My marriage is going to go on forever. It's intensely personal, but at the same time, we're still relatively anonymous to each other. And it's the steady constant, the best night of the week. So if you, this is, well, I've got to read. Oh, I've stopped. Oh, thing. I pressed that. Sorry, he's never going to be 10 minutes anyway. So this is Tall Mark's Facebook page. It's brilliant. He's actually called Tall Mark on Facebook. So if you stop by Bishopston at 9 o'clock tomorrow night, you'd look at us and you just see a bunch of rabbly old men running about, not particularly great at football. But for us, we're living out our childhood dreams. We're still thinking, you know, Swansea City may sign me up as a third. The way they played last night, they probably should have said that. But we're living out our dreams. We're imagining the perfect goal. And there's this voice in our heads saying, you know what, you could have played the Swansea City. But there is a serious point to this talk. We are like a family. And a couple of months ago, my wife, Fiona, spoke here at 3 Talks. And I don't know if any of you were here and heard Fiona speak. She was talking about creativity, and for her, she makes clothes and she paints. For her, creativity is, and investing that time in herself is a form of self-care and caring for her own well-being. And when she was speaking, and afterwards, I was thinking, well, what is that for me? I don't spend time painting or writing poems or making beautiful clothes. And I realised for me, my self-care, if that's what you want to call it, is actually my Thursday nights, that I need these Thursday nights in my life. I need to invest in spending time, and I think it's something that men don't do very often, is we don't spend time with other blokes, investing in ourselves, chatting about mundane things most of the time. It's not always really personal and emotional, but spending and investing time in ourselves. So that's what Thursday night is for me. So as I was saying earlier, I'm a youth worker, and over the last 2 or 3 years with my wonderful friend, and she has been a colleague, but not at the moment, my colleague Jo, we've had a project which we've been running all around mental health and well-being in young people. So I've been making lots of films with young people who have lived with mental health conditions, and about what their coping strategies have been. And we've been going into schools and running lessons, looking at these films about how young people need to thrive and not just survive, living with mental health, and how they can carry on with these conditions. And in men, especially, I think, especially as they get a little bit older and they begin to have families and to chat to people and get out as much, mental health is becoming a huge problem for men. So 1 in 8 men will experience mental health problems. And in a recent survey, 77% of men said they've suffered with anxiety, stress, and depression. And the biggest pressures in men's life are work, around 32%, finance, 31%, and health. And I think there's always been this patriarchal onus sort of on men, that they have got to be the breadwinners, and all the pressure is on them to be earning for the family. Majority of men claim that mental health is having a negative impact on their work performance, parenting ability, and relationships in particular. And this is a horrific fact. So in 2013, there were 6,233 suicides recorded in the UK, and 78%, so nearly 80% of them were men. So in our country, we have a major issue of suicides amongst males. So what are we doing about it? And for me, this is why I think Thursday nights are so important. Luckily at the moment, I don't think I've ever had a major mental health problem. I'm hoping it's partly because I invest in myself, spend time with other men. So Thursday nights and playing sport and football, it improves my physical health. And studies show that exercise can treat mild to moderate depression as effectively as antidepressant medication, but without, obviously, the side effects. One example shows a study in Harvard University found that running for 15 minutes a day or walking for an hour reduces the risk of major depression by 26%. In addition to relieving depression symptoms, research also shows that maintaining an exercise schedule can prevent you from relapsing. And people have probably seen this sort of thing before. Exercise is a powerful depression fighter for several reasons. Most importantly, it promotes all kinds of changes in the brain, including neural growth, reduced inflammation, and new activity patterns that promote feelings of calm and well-being. It also releases endorphins, which I think these are here, which are powerful chemicals in your brain that energize your spirits and make you feel good. So just getting out and being active, so it could just be going out for a walk, it could be running, playing football, is going to help you in your emotional well-being. But what Thursday Night Football also does for me, it encourages and improves social inclusion. So for a lot of older guys, as I was saying, as we start to get families and life takes its toll and pressures put on from all sides, it can be difficult difficult sometimes investing in yourself to make sure you go out and spend that time with other men. So for me, it's... have I got over 10 minutes? Sheesh. When I practiced, it was like 6.5, 7 minutes. Okay, I'm going into land. Okay. So, it's not just about the football, it's about going to the pub, spending time with other blokes. As I was saying, it's not all about talking about our emotions and our struggles. But for some of us, especially there's a guy who pretty much runs it, a guy called Louis. For him, this Christmas, we had a Christmas party, and he said to us all, he got up and said, guys, I want to thank you, because you guys have pretty much saved my life. He went through a really traumatic period with his family, where he had to move out of the house, and he said to us that the only thing that kept him going from week to week was looking forward to Thursday night. So, to Louis, thank you very much for organising it. And my challenge for you guys, so what's your best night of the week?